to improve our Swift skills just a little bit more in order to build this app. So, since we're going to be learning more Swift, let's jump back into our playground. Okay, so here's my playground. Let's go ahead and clear out what we had before. Now we're going to be talking about math and doubles. Okay, so the first thing to talk about here is that all programming languages, and Swift included, well, it's a great way to do some math, calculations. So, yeah, that means you can do calculations in Swift. I'll give you an example. If you want to do some really basic, just 4 plus 3, something like that, right? Just type it in. So if we have our automatic run on, you'll see over the side here, it says 4 plus 3 is 10. And then you can just put math problems in here. And you can do addition, you can do subtraction, you can do division. You can also do multiplication. These are all sorts of different things that you can do. And of course, you can even go a little bit more complex. Like, let's say we're going to do something really big here. For example, let's say that I want to do 4 plus 6 divided by 3 times 99. You see? Totally fine. We can have a big, nice math problem here, and Swift is going to handle that for us. And as you can see here, it gives out the number 202. Now, one thing that I do want to mention to you here is, if you remember way back in math class, basically division and multiplication, right, happens first. So in this situation, 6 would be divided by 3, then times 99, then plus 4. You follow? Now, if you want to change how all this works, you can put parentheses around things. So, for example, if we put some parentheses around 4 plus 6, that is going to happen first. And then it's going to go and do the division. And you can see that it changes the answer here. So if you ever need to put parentheses around things, you can totally do that. Okay. So actually, that's basic math knowledge, right? You probably already know that. But now that we know that you can do math in Swift, we don't have to use just raw numbers. We can actually use variables too. So let's have a variable called age. And let's maybe say that we've got a kid who's 12 years old, and then we have the age min, represents age minimum, and we'll set that to equal to 18. So you got to be at least 18 years old to get this driving license. Okay, so with just using this, we could use an if statement. Now we could say if age is less than age min, then we'll need to tell them that they can't get the license. But what we can add in here is we'll make it do some math to tell the kid, hey, this is how old you have to be until you can come back, maybe next year, and get your driving license. Go and grow up somewhere, right? So we could say difference is equal to the minimum age minus the age. Then we could use this to print back and have a message saying, this is how many years that you've got to grow. Don't come back here, kid. Okay, so in this case, it prints out the number 6. So it's saying that you need 6 more years before you can get your driving license. All right? So that's pretty cool, you know. And instead of using just numbers, you can use variable names because it really helps us to visualize what's going on in math. And it also reads a little bit better, right? Okay, so if the age is less than the age minimum, then the difference is equal to the minimum age minus the age. As you can see, it's very readable. And this would also be Very easy to go through your code and understand what's going on. So here we'll see a warning message. If you're wondering what this warning is here, what's this yellow thing saying? All right, this has never been used. So basically, Xcode is telling us you made this variable difference, but you never changed the value inside of it, saying that you should probably make this a constant instead of a variable here. So if you go ahead and click on this, you can actually just click Fix, and it'll change this from a variable to a constant by changing the var to let. So you can see it goes away. So just a little bit of info here. Sometimes those warnings can be helpful. Sometimes you got to disobey. But I just want to show you that those are there and they can help you out. All right, so let's just dive into another math problem here. And it's one about converting length. So, the countries all over the world are not using the same length measurement systems. Some of them use metric, some of them use imperial, and understanding different length systems is sometimes pretty challenging for me. And perhaps anyone else, I don't know, maybe everybody. But in any event, having a converter can be very helpful. All right. So let's go ahead and just figure out how we could do that in Swift. So first, let's set up a variable for the length in imperial. And I'm going to say I for imperial, and let's say it's equal to 15 feet. Then we have the formula to get imperial from metric. So M is going to represent metric, and we're going to do imperial multiply in parentheses 381 divided by 1250. So here we see an interesting result. If we do I times 0.3048 feet, then the result is equal to 0. So let's try it with some different lengths. So let's change it to like 25 feet, for example. And notice it's not changed, because you have to be working with the same type when you're doing math in Swift. So that means that, yes, we do have different types in Swift. All right, so there's the string, and we've got the integer, which represents whole numbers. But there's also another type, and that's called a double. This represents numbers with an integer. So what's happening here is when it does 381 divided by 1250, it rounds it to a whole number, which in this case is just 0. Okay? So even if just out here, if I say what is 2 divided by 5, Swift is going to tell me the answer is 0. And yeah, it might seem very strange. Well, that can't be the answer, right? So if you want to get numbers with decimals in them, you have got to use doubles. And the shorthand way to use doubles is just by adding periods to things. So if I do 2.0 divided by 5.0, you'll see that I get the appropriate 0.4. Okay, so if we want to have that in this example, we'd also have to say 25.0, make sure that we're working with a double there. And then you can see that we've converted that into a double. Through this, and you can update every single piece here and add these. Okay, yeah. But in Swift, we don't need to do that because it sees that there is a double there, and then it turns all the numbers into doubles to do the math. Okay, so if you want to see the type double, remember, we don't have to do it like this. Just want to be clear. This is the double type, which is just a number with a decimal point behind it. But again, I'm not recommending you do it like that. Just visually want you to be able to see this, and this will come in handy as we build our apps. All right, so I want to do another example here. Let's just say that you want to, I don't know, send money to your family. So we'll say transfer is equal to, we'll start the first one at 200 pounds. But also, when you transfer money, you know that some banks will eagerly take some commission. So we'll call that commission on the transfer cut. All right, so we'll make cut equal to transfer times 0.02. Okay? All right, so we'll see the result here. So we continue, let's choose a little bit more complex number. So let's make it 2555. That means the cut is 51.1. All right, so now one thing here that I want to show you is in Swift, as numbers get bigger and bigger, it's going to be hard for it to realize what that number is. Right, so in fact, let's just add a bunch of zeros in here. And see, it's a little bit hard to understand. So what you can do is add underscores to your numbers, where you typically use commas, and this will help you understand. For example, we could say here, let's put an underscore here, put an underscore there, and we'll say this number is 1 billion. So every 3 units, I'm putting this underscore in this number here, and it's the exact same thing as without the underscore. Right, so it doesn't change anything, but just visually, it can help you if you're working with bigger numbers. All right, so that means that we've learned another skill in the world of Swift.